Hello, I'm James.
I'm Lou.
We are the senior leaders of the parish of Chanctonbury in West Sussex.
I'm also James.
I'm Suzy.
And we're co-chairs of South Downs Awakening.
So we wanted to just share a bit about South Downs Awakening and how we're adjusting to the impact of coronavirus and what's planned for this summer. But James and Suzy, tell us first, what's God been doing over the last couple of years, really, as we've been on this journey?
Well, it's been quite an adventure, one I think we never expected. And really, I think it's over not just the last couple of years, but over the last 50, 60 years and beyond, of all the prayer and prophecy that's gone into this land that has led before this. But I think the standout things have been the unity that's arisen in the last 2 years. Churches coming together, church leaders coming together in a way in this part of the country hasn't really happened before, and a warmth of heart amongst people to get behind walking the land and praying, and people saying, yes, this has been on our hearts, the Lord spoke to me about this, I had this word, and that's been really exciting.
So, there's obviously, James, there's been a lot of, there was a vision to start with this, and there was prophecy that was kind of being built on it, but we've changed, and what's your take on that?
Yeah, great question. I think no one expected coronavirus. No one prophesied that or saw it. And I think in assessing, what is God doing, I think what we feel as we've come back and sought the Lord, that actually the true essence behind what God was speaking about with South Downs Awakening, we are continuing with, we're running with. In 2018, I felt, and then we weighed as a church and with our bishop, that 2020 would be a significant year. In 2009, when we saw the original vision, we saw an earthquake hitting the land, shaking the church, shaking communities, out of which God moved powerfully. So I think it wasn't quite what we imagined, but as Scripture says, we see through a glass dimly, but God has the plan and He knows what's going on.
God's timing is perfect, isn't it? Always perfect.
Yeah.
So what does SDA look like then, moving forward?
In many ways, not that different, because the heart was always to pray and walk the land, and that's what we're still calling people to do. We're not organising it, we're not putting on coaches, but we're asking people in their households, whether you're on your own or in a family, to go now. But in particular on the 1st of July, we will be launching the website and resources, but to go out and walk the land, ask the Lord which part you want to walk. And we won't be doing the gathering as one, but yeah, get out there and walk. And on the 3rd of July, we're going to have a conference, so that's going to be a resource online for people to access and talk about revival. What does that actually mean? So it's all systems go, but in a different way.
Yeah. I think the gathering is one as well. We've been sent just to lay that down at the moment. Who knows what will come in the future? But kind of looking, nationally, or what's your sense about what's kind of going on in this time?
Well, for me personally, I think it's interesting because back in January, when we were praying about SDA, I had this really vivid vision of angels gathering above the downs, and what the angels were doing is what I can only describe as is shaking a big sheet, and I could just see them shaking it up and down the country. And I really feel like that's what is going on. And I feel it's time to pray, Lord, shake us, shake all the stuff of us that shouldn't be there anymore, and we give ourselves to you, Lord, to just have your way. So a shaking in us, but also I think up and down the country people are being shaken economically, spiritually, emotionally, and let's just pray and cry out that they will turn to the Lord in these times of shaking.
I think for me, at the beginning of June, having been in lockdown for 11 weeks or so, I think right now I just feel almost the heart of the Father drawing the church to really pray and press in for really the core aims of South Downs Awakening, which is that every church would be revived and the land would be changed and awoken to how incredible Jesus is. And I think, looking at what's going on, I think the whole world has enjoyed a bit of a pause, a bit of a slowdown. For some, maybe what's felt a bit like a holiday at home. But actually, I think I almost feel like the heart cry of God, almost like a lament that we wouldn't waste this time, that we'd really find him, that in this time of shaking, we'd really, as a nation, turn to the Lord. And I feel him drawing us to prayer, drawing us to our knees, drawing us into his heart. And I think, don't want to miss that opportunity.
No.
What about you guys?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I feel the yearning we're doing this for Southlands Awakening, but wherever you are across the land, wherever you live, is, revival starts in yourself. So Lord, come, revive me, revive my family, and let us cry out to the Father for where we live, the land that we've been given, what we're surrounded by. And let's cry out. And can you imagine everybody doing that, every Christian saying, yes, Lord, I cry out to you in this time. And let's see a generational shift. Let's see revival come in our lifetime, and then for our children. It's so exciting.
And if there was ever a time to pray,
It's
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
I think what's also really beautiful as well is just that there's Scotland awake, there's the Southwest awake, there's Europe awake. God is moving.
Yeah.
He's bringing these things together, and that, we've not even planned that. It's just what has happened.
Yeah, we're just a small part of it.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
So it's time to get out and pray. Feed back your testimonies. We
Yes.
want to hear what God is doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and head to the website. It's all going to be up there,
First
southdownsawakening.com.
Yeah.
We're going to try and catch the prophetic and the testimonies coming out of this summer, July and August, getting out on the land.
Yeah.
So game on, guys.
So exciting.
Cool.